Hello, my name is Will, and I'm here to watch some Smosh. Okay, so we're finally getting back into Anthony's angry letter to Ian. I know it's been a while, it's been a couple of months now, I think. I meant to do this all pretty much back to back, but I got an unexpected call to go on tour, and I had to do that, and I can't really do this when I'm on the road. So yeah, we're just picking up where we left off. And yes, I didn't do this all in one and then break it up into segments. I was gonna do that. Well, initially I was gonna do it as one big video, but I realized it was gonna be like way too long because this video itself is 45 minutes. So with talking and everything, I knew that it was going to be way too long, and people don't have the attention span for that, and I don't have the attention span for that. I usually, if a video is over half an hour, I'm like, nah, I'm not giving that much time to a video unless it's a creator that I trust and that I know is going to have good stuff. But so then I was going to break it up and just do it all in one and break it up into different videos. And I thought, well, if I just react to a bit, make a video out of that, it gives me some time to process that before I go on to the next segment. And I'm not really breaking these segments up at any specific point. I'm just like, this is a good time to stop, and I stop. But then it gives me time to kind of process and think about, what was said before we go on. So, and I think it would have been just mentally exhausting to do this as one big go. So anyway, we're picking back up where we left off. And basically at this point, we've kind of just talked about how communication is key, or they've talked about, and we've talked about how communication is key, how starting a business with someone you have a personal relationship with can be very difficult, and how that doesn't always work out for the best because it can be detrimental to the relationship. And we've just kind of gotten to know, or I've gotten to know Ian and Anthony a little more intimately. I feel like, in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm getting to know these guys more than I did, and again, I'm still a little bit worried about this video because we're not even halfway through yet, folks. I thought this was going to be a 3-parter, but it may go a little longer than that. I don't know. I'm hoping it won't go more than 4 or 5 parts, but we'll see. This might be a full little mini series here, so, and wouldn't that be fun? But yeah, I'm still a little worried. I do like that they're being very careful about how they're talking to each other, and they're being sure not to disrespect each other in any way. And I think for doing something that really isn't a great idea, I think they're going about it the best way that anyone could go about doing it. So anyways, let's pick up where we left off. Here it is. Ian and Anthony read Anthony's letter to Ian. There's got to be a better way to say that.
I have so many ways I've treated you that I regret, and so many things I wish I could apologize to you for doing. I really wish you'd give me a chance to speak with you. Okay. There are also so many things I wish you would explain to me. Let's go.
I told you we'd get to it.
Okay, now we're getting to the nitty gritty. I like that they're laughing about it, but I kind of feel like maybe it's a little bit of nervous laughter. Like maybe they're like, oh, here it is. Here's the part. Now we're getting into the not so nicety parts. Let's see if Anthony holds his composure. I said earlier that he did a really good job of even making sure that what he was expressing without intent of, without even intending to show this to Ian, how he was careful to not express anything that could solidify in his own mind that wasn't necessarily true, that wasn't even necessarily the way he actually felt, but just that he didn't use this as an opportunity to lash out. So we'll see if he holds on to that. We'll see where this goes.
All right. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Okay. This is when the smiles stop. Okay. Why have you consistently made me feel ashamed to be myself in front of you for so many years? The time I asked you what you thought about my shoes when we were 17, and you told me you thought they were hideous, and I could tell you only said it to hurt my feelings.
Half a lifetime ago.
I mean, at the time, I believed that.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think you were just being honest.
Being honest. They're hideous.
I definitely didn't learn until I was like well into adulthood that like you shouldn't just say things because they're honest. Like you should sometimes take the person's feelings into consideration.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I could see Ian being that type of person. It's just really blunt. Like, you asked me, there you go. But also, it seems like Anthony's the type of person who is kind of easily hurt. And we'll get into that, I think, a little bit later. I think the thing is they really do love each other very much. They're very much like brothers, and that's probably part of the reason why they had a falling out, because their friendship has gone beyond friendship and into brotherhood. And when you become family, even chosen family, it makes it easier to reach out more, to be more intense in any direction, whether intensely love someone or get intensely angry at someone, and that's a very dangerous thing. And they are two, I can tell, they seem like they're two very different people. I feel like Anthony's the type that really wears his heart on his sleeve, and Ian is the type that plays things kind of closely to the chest and doesn't really express himself as much. But yeah, well, let's see where this goes.
Maybe offer up, like, not lie to them, but offer up a different kind of answer.
Yeah, and Ian seems more blunt,
satisfactory, that doesn't just go and like hurt the person.
Yeah. And I will be honest, they were hideous shoes. They were like.
I think Ian is less likely to be hurt, and so he's less likely to take other people's feelings into consideration because he doesn't realize that other people may be a little more sensitive than he is. And also, I think Anthony's on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, where he gets his feelings hurt pretty easily. I don't know. Again, I don't know these guys, and I'm not a psychologist. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. I am not a psychologist. I have no real education in this type of thing. I'm just a guy watching a video about two people that I don't know and don't know anything about beyond this video and a silly 2 truths 1 lie video. So, let's just take all of everything I say with a grain of salt, or with a whole shaker of salt.
Moccasins.
They were like.
They were moccasin shoes.
Oh, they were
They
moccasins.
were like boat shoes.
They were indoor-outdoor moccasins. But now I know what you really thought about those.
Oh, I had indoor-outdoor moccasins.
Oh yeah, you did have boat shoes for a while.
I had
but
boat
I think I
shoes,
probably
too.
had boat shoes for a short.
We both had boat shoes for a while. But the indoor-outdoor
had boat
moccasins
shoes.
were real rough. But I liked them.
Yeah.
You like what you like.
And-
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I called your shoes hideous.
I appreciate that, but also the best part of it is I do not care if you think my shoes are hideous, so that's great.
I think those shoes are nice.
Oh, thanks. Very
I'm
basic.
glad we're talking about shoes.
Oh.
Hey, don't read ahead.
Sorry. The time you talk shit behind my back on Facebook to the girl we were friends with that I introduced you to. The amount of things you said behind my back to our high school friends about me and my relationship. The snide remarks you'd make about me being... Oh, I thought that said virgin.
What's it say?
Vegan.
Vegan.
About me being
Facebook,
virgin.
by the way. Facebook. Wow. That's
The
when
times
Facebook
you
was
make
cool.
me feel stupid for making any content whatsoever that was not directly Smosh related. The snide remarks about anything I made that put my true emotions out there for the world. I just wish you were better at communicating. I know I'm not any better, but I feel like I've tried with you, tried to break out of my comfort zone and talk about things that make me feel uncomfortable. When we were in New York for our Ghostmates tour, we got drinks, and I opened up about how embarrassed I was that my previous relationship was so obviously bad to the outside world and how naive I was to think I would actually marry someone like that. I was vulnerable and breaking down all my walls in hopes that you would return the favor, but nothing.
So, has Anthony been married before? Is that what he's saying? He's saying like he had a very public marriage, public, and that Smosh was already thick. Because I thought they were still in high school when they started Smosh. I don't really get if he's saying like when they were in high school and he was in this relationship, but it seems also like he's saying how embarrassing it is that it seems like it's a public thing. So maybe it was after Smosh had started and they had a fan base. And I don't know, what was he married before? And maybe she wasn't like really good for him. I don't know. We'll soldier on. I think that got by me.
The conversation was once again one sided. Am I just horrible to open up to? Have I made you feel uncomfortable to open up around me? Have I made you feel all the ways you've made me feel? Are the ways you treat me nothing but an echo of how I treat you? There's a lot of questions.
There are a lot of
Am
questions.
I the one at fault here? Did I create a problem that went way further than the point of no return?
I was losing my mind.
Is this all because of me? And then you put in all caps right after, perhaps.
That's a little over dramatic.
I mean, I think at this point,
Yeah, I think part of that is he's asking, why don't you open up to me the way I open up to you? I think it's just because Ian's just not that guy. And I think this was probably at a time where Anthony didn't realize that not everybody was as interested in being so like, I want to pour everything out to you. And Ian probably wasn't, aware that there were people who were so intensely needing to outpour everything. I think, and I'll go ahead and talk about this because this is something I've thought about. I wonder. I've heard Anthony has said earlier in this video that he grew up in a household that wasn't the happiest in some ways, or maybe things weren't going so great. Right? He said like he got to do things he wouldn't normally get to do, but he got to do them with Ian's family because things were kind of shaky at home. And I kind of wonder if his need to talk is because he feels a need for security because the place, his home when he was a child, was supposed to be a place where he could feel secure and safe. And then all of a sudden, maybe something happened, even if it's just a divorce, where his home security kind of crumbled away, and maybe that's kind of followed him through life a bit. And now he's just kind of cursed with having this need to constantly monitor, like, are we okay? Is everything good here? I just want to talk and make sure nobody's mad because maybe mom and dad didn't talk as much as they should have, and so things fell apart there, and I want to make sure that doesn't happen with us. I don't know. Again, that's getting pretty deep into psychology that I don't have the education or the knowledge or the the expertise to talk about. But it kind of makes me wonder if maybe that's why Anthony, because it does seem like Anthony does, not that he needs constant validation, but that he needs to constantly monitor every relationship he has to be like, hey, are we good? Everything good here? Let's talk. Let's make sure that anything and everything that needs to be talked about, we talk about, because maybe mom and dad didn't do that. Let's say Ian or Anthony needs that, where Ian seems like he grew up in a very stable household, and maybe he doesn't need that.
you like by the time of like Ghostmates, that was 2017, 2016.
16.
Like you opening up to me was, I think, like uncomfortable for me because we had never established that kind of openness before.
Yeah.
So I think that I didn't know how to respond because I was like, where's this coming from?
Right.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's my feeling. I don't think I was. It's
I think
like,
Ian's just not used to that. He
it's
doesn't
like,
need
I
that.
don't know. Have you ever like had like a relative that you weren't close to, and then all of a sudden they've like tried to get like close with you, or
Yeah, that's fair.
suddenly like opened up about something,
Okay.
and you're like,
That's fair.
what is this? Like, I think it was probably a similar thing. I can't recall exactly what this was, but I mean, I know I had a lot of thoughts, but I think I think maybe it was coming from a place of like suspicion.
Yeah, I really think this just comes down to it's just two different personality types who aren't really seeing each other, who aren't really understanding the other person. Anthony, who really needs to, as I said, check in on his relationships, make sure they're good because he's afraid they're going to fall apart because, as he said, something happened at home. And it wasn't the best home life for him. And Ian doesn't need it because he had a very stable life. And so maybe it kind of throws Ian off a bit. And he's like, where is this coming from? Why are we talking about this? We're good. We're good. If we're not good, I'll let you know. You know, that kind of thing. And I tend to operate more like Anthony. Not quite to that extent, but I do very often think about my relationships and like, you know, anything I say that might be a little weird or any little microaggression I might pick up off of them, it sits in my head and I overthink it. So I get that. I totally get that. I wish I could be more like Ian and just like, yeah, everything's good. And just not think twice about it. Yeah, we're friends and everything's good. But so yeah, I think I relate a little more with Anthony in that just worrying about that kind of thing. I don't know where it comes from with me. It's easy to psychoanalyze other people, even if you're wrong. It's impossible to psychoanalyze yourself.
Or
Yeah,
something,
that's fair,
or
that's
like,
fair.
or like me being cynical or something, like not. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I thought you had like a motive, like an ulterior motive to open up to me since you hadn't opened up before.
That's true. And you had no idea how I would respond if you opened up because we never established what that would be like. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I definitely had my walls up for sure.
Yeah. And now, you know, as I've grown, I've realized that when I have a conversation with someone, even if I'm opening up, it is not fair to have expectations for the way that you should respond. I think
That's
when I was
very
opening up,
true.
I had this expectation of like,
It was like a quid pro quo.
yeah, I was like, I open up, you open up.
Yeah.
But now
See, that's something I really like about Anthony. That's very very mature. That idea of like, well, I opened up to you, I know that you opened up to me, and realizing no, I just because I opened up to you, that in no way means that you're required to open up to me. I like that. I appreciate that he recognizes that. It's something I've never thought about before, but as soon as he said it, I was like, you're absolutely right. That's really smart. That's really mature and self-aware.